Welcome everyone to radio frequency classes. Today in this video we will be seeing the full wave bridge rectifier working, the brief outline, how the signal varies across input and output and across the diodes, what will be the output voltage, how it varies, and then finally I'll simulate the same circuit using the LT-Spice tool and we'll see the input waveform and output waveform corresponding and their explanation of the output variation across the load register. And finally, as this will be the final video of the bridge rectifier, already I have completed the half wave and center tape full wave rectifier. So finally I'll compare all three with respect to the number of diodes, transformer, peak inverse voltage, peak load current, RMS current, DC current, ripple factor, what is the rectification efficiency, and ripple frequency, lowest ripple frequency for all three rectifiers. Finally, I will compare all those things. So to know all those comparisons, watch till the last minute. Now, so we'll start. For the in full wave bridge rectifier, we use four diodes D1, D2, D3, and D4. Four diodes we will be using it to construct a full wave bridge rectifier. So what we do, we'll take a AC signal for defined magnitude and the frequency. So as again you can see we have taken the 230 volt magnitude of the sinusoidal signal and the frequency from 0 to 2 pi, frequency is 50 hertz. So time period again we can calculate t is equals to 1 by f. So this will be 20 milliseconds. So one cycle for this particular applied signal is for 20 milliseconds and frequency is 50 hertz. So as we are having the diodes, four diodes, so in one half cycle two diodes will connect and in another half cycle the remaining two diodes will connect. So let's see when we are applying this input signal. So when the first case, when we have the positive half cycle, this one 0 to pi across this one positive half cycle, then you can see the diode D2, then current goes through this RL, then again from diode D4, and then current goes to the negative terminal. So diode D2, this one, and diode D4 will be on, and the polarity, if you see, it's like plus and minus. Current goes in this direction across this load resistance. Okay, so the positive terminal comes here, and here also it is positive. So it is Pn. So when n is connected with the positive, this will be reverse biased. So as you can see, it is in off condition because it is in reverse bias. Same way for this. So when positive terminal comes here and negative here, okay, and then again same way positive here, so this will be on and this will be on. So these two diodes will be on for the forward bias. Okay, and the flow of current will be like this. So the IL will develop across RL and the potential difference plus minus will be like this. Okay, so across the RL will be having the voltage output from 0 to pi. So from 0 to pi, D2 and D4 will be on. This D2 and okay, so here as you can see, I think I have written here D3. So we should write it as a D4. Just before itself I have drawn. So we can write it as a D4 so that there should not be any kind of confusion. I'll write it as a D4 itself and this will make it as a D3. Now in the second polarity for the second half cycle, minus will be here and positive will be here. So as we can see, when it comes here, positive polarity, so here we have N and this is P, so this will be off reverse bias, so this will be sorry, off condition, and this will be in the on condition, and this current goes like this and through RL. Again this terminal will be positive and this will be negative, and here also you can see this will be negative and this will be positive, so this will again go in reverse bias and it will be off. So we can see D1 and D3 will be in on condition. This is D1 and this is D3. So what we are seeing that the current direction again it is same. So polarity is plus minus. So in both the cases it is same. So we have again the output like this in the positive half. D1 and D3 is on, and D4, D2 and D4 is off. So I hope it is clear. Okay, so this way current flows in the secondary half cycle, and for the first half cycle current flows like this. Okay, this way. Now we'll see the same thing in LT Spice. We'll try to simulate and see the output. Okay, the circuit will look like this. We have D1, D2. So here also I have a given name here like D3. Okay, so what happens actually? We have to see that D1 and instead of D1, D3, we know that D1 and D4. So here we'll have different notation for the diodes that you can correct it. Now same way, first we are going to define a voltage supply. Here we are not using the transformer concept, okay, because there is no like center tapping and all those things. Even if you want to use for the isolation purpose, we can use the transformer concept in the same way as we have used in our previous video for center tap full wave rectifier, but it is not needed. So directly I have defined a voltage source and connected through the diodes. So to define the again voltage source, we have to go to the component. So here if we type VOL, voltage source, if we type, we'll get the this one. When you get the symbol, press OK, and you can keep it here. Now to define the voltage source, as we need a sinusoidal signal, we are going to get the DC output across this R1. So ultimate aim of this rectifier is to convert the AC to DC. So we have to define an AC signal here. So what is the magnitude and the frequency of the signal? So what we'll do, just right click on this voltage source, go to advanced, and then once you'll click on advanced, we'll have these all options. So third option, this sinusoidal, will be selecting this, then all these symbols will be open. So here we have to fill amplitude and the frequency. Amplitude will fill as a 230 volt and frequency will select as a 50 hertz. In my previous video, I have explained about the number of cycles. Depending upon our frequency, we can get the time period, and how many cycles you want, you can keep it. I am not at all taking anything, so I am free to choose even output for number of cycles. How many number of cycles I want, I will get it. If you will define it here, then in output also will be restricted with this number of cycles. So you can let it be like this. And here no need to define the series resistance. If you won't define, there won't be problem because we are not using the concept of transformer in the inductor. So press OK, then you can see here it is defined. Okay, now I'll delete this V2. Just I have explained to understand how we have defined the V1 voltage source as sign. 0 I have written for offset. I am not giving any offset voltage. Those concepts will come in next advanced videos when I'll be teaching about the common emitter configuration, amplifier and all those things. At that time I'll explain everything in detail. So this is now defined. Now we'll select from here diodes like this, and then we'll press Ctrl R. We can rotate the diodes, and then we can place 4 diodes here like this. So we'll place it. I have placed here one diode, and to define the diode, just click on it, mouse, and pick new diode. Go to the library, select 1N4148. Any diode you can select. I have selected 1N4148, which is silicon type, and click OK. So you can see your diode is defined. Without this, if you simulate, okay, there will be an error. It will say that diode is not defined. So select the diodes, all 4 diodes, define it and select. Now I'll delete it. Once you have defined all these 4 diodes, after that take one resistor from here, connect from the center to center, and then connect a ground. Take a ground from here and connect it properly. And through wire, join all the connections. Once you have joined all the connections, then go to the simulate button, edit simulation command, open it, and again we are going to define the transient analysis 100 stop time. 100 is 100 millisecond. So maximum 5 cycles will be seeing in the output. Then once you press OK, then you can define this dot TRAM tran 100M. Okay. So I'll cancel it because already I have defined. So place it here. Anywhere you can place this dot TRM. It gives you transient analysis. Once you have defined this analysis, then click save button, and after this click on this run. Once you run, you'll get this kind of output. But actually I have already simulated it, that's why I got the output. You'll be getting a blank screen, something like this. this way. So now I am going to get the output. So you can see 0 to 100 millisecond will be having. So when we want, so the output now across this load register should have the DC output. So when you will click it here, you will be getting the DC output across the load register. Okay, this is for to first cycle, half cycle output, then for second half cycle. Okay, and if you want to see the available output here, it's shown in blue color. If you want, you can see here also the second one. So this way we can check the outputs, and across the load register we are having the rectified DC output. So this way we can verify our simulation for bridge wave rectifier. Fine. Now we'll discuss a little bit about the comparison of all three: full wave, half wave rectifier, and the center tap rectifier, depending upon the parameter as I told. So if we'll talk about the number of diodes, we use only one diode for half wave rectifier, two diode for center tap, and four diode for bridge wave rectifier. So half wave rectifier, center tap, full wave rectifier, bridge type, full wave rectifier. So number of diodes. Then now talking about the transformer, it is compulsory in this case, but in these two cases it is not compulsory, but for isolation purpose, if we want, we can use it in these two cases. Otherwise it is not compulsory. Now peak inverse voltage, PIV. Peak inverse voltage for half wave rectifier is Vm. We'll find out the maximum voltage. That same maximum voltage will be the peak inverse voltage for the half wave rectifier case. And for center tap full wave rectifier, it is 2 times of Vm. Okay, because there will be half Vm voltage will be always available across the binding also, and the one Vm will be available across the diode. So that will be 2 Vm. When we'll open the diode, we'll be having 2 times of the maximum voltage as peak inverse voltage. And already I have explained the concept of PIV, what is peak inverse voltage, in my previous videos for the half wave rectifier concept and PIV concepts. That when diodes are open in the reverse bias, how much voltage will be available across the diode, and the diode can withstand in the reverse bias. That is called as a peak inverse voltage. And talking about the peak load current, or IM, peak load current, maximum current will be available across the load, will be given by Vm divided by Rd plus RL. This is load resistance and this is the diode resistance. If Rd is much smaller compared to the RL, then directly we can write as a Vm by RL. So this expression remains same for this one and the center tap, but for bridge wave rectifier, this is Vm divided by 2 Rd plus RL. So this way we can find out the peak load current. Talking about the RMS current, it is RMS current for these three configuration. It is Im by 2 for half wave rectifier, and Im by root 2 and Im by root 2 for full wave rectifiers, both the rectifiers. Fine. And then ripple factor denoted as R. Ripple factor is given as 1.21 for half wave rectifier and 0.482 and 0.482 for other two full wave rectifiers, both center taped or this one. And already I have explained how to find out the ripple factor. We can find out the IRMS and IDC, and then we can have the expressions square of it -1, and then we'll take the square root. We can get these ripple factors. You can watch previous videos to understand this. And then rectification efficiency, that values just I will say rectification efficiency. It will be exactly half for the half wave rectifier, 40.6%, and doubled for these other two, 81.2%. 81.2%. And finally, that because we are not getting the exact DC output, there will be ripples. So what is the lowest ripple frequency? L, R, F for all this case. So it will be Fi for this case 2 Fi. For this case also it will be 2Fi. So all these parameter, in a short, we can remember to solve the questions based on the rectifier circuits. Whenever we are studying rectifier circuits, we can solve it. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the content, kindly subscribe the channel and share it. And my next upcoming video, I'll explain about the common emitter configuration using NPN transistor, its input output characteristic and DC load line characteristics. Thank you.